Good morning. Globally, the dominant development is the widening Iran-centered conflict and the growing risk to energy and shipping routes. The Financial Times reports a Houthi missile attack is being treated as a serious escalation, with rebels' involvement raising the threat level for vital maritime corridors. The FT also reports an Iranian strike has wounded U.S. troops at a Saudi air base, underscoring the risk of direct spillover across the Gulf. Analysts cited by the FT are now openly questioning how long Iran can sustain missile barrages, while Al Jazeera reports Iranian politicians are pushing for withdrawal from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty as hardliners argue for a more confrontational posture. The BBC says doubts are deepening over Gaza's path to peace as attention shifts to Iran, and reports 3 Lebanese journalists were killed in an Israeli strike, with Israel confirming it killed a Hezbollah-affiliated broadcaster. SBS analysis also warns Lebanon is increasingly being pulled into Israel's broader regional strategy, adding another front and complicating any de-escalation. On the global economy and the technological revolution, the immediate watchpoint is how conflict risk feeds into fuel prices, freight costs, and inflation expectations. With maritime routes under pressure, markets will be the lure to any disruption that lifts energy and transport costs. Separately, the Financial Times notes a cultural shift in modern conflict. Targeted leadership decapitation is becoming more normalized, a trend that can accelerate escalation cycles and shorten decision timelines. Conditions where artificial intelligence-enabled surveillance, targeting, and information operations are increasingly relevant, even when not explicitly acknowledged by governments. In Australia, the economic pressure point most visible to households remains fuel. The Guardian reports that as prices have soared, more than half of motorists surveyed by the NRMA have cut their driving in the past month. For those who can, people are shifting behavior, working from home, using public transport, cycling, and other green transport choices to reduce costs without necessarily buying an electric vehicle. This is a material signal of demand response that can flow through to retail spending patterns and transport policy debates. Turning to Australian government service delivery, there is a significant operational failure in the Northern Territory. ABC News reports Darwin's ambulance service reached what is being described as a critical failure point, with 42% of 000 calls abandoned overnight, 61 calls not answered. That is a frontline public service breakdown with immediate safety implications and likely political and administrative consequences, including resourcing, rostering, and accountability questions. On public safety and community issues, ABC reports new research in New South Wales finds 50% of female runners have experienced harassment, and most say safety concerns shape their behavior. Expect pressure for practical responses spanning policing, lighting, event design, and local council infrastructure. In Western Australia, ABC reports a fatal crash in Perth's southeast involving a rideshare vehicle that hit a tree, killing a 7-month-old child and seriously injuring 2 others, an incident likely to renew scrutiny of rideshare safety, fatigue, and passenger protections. Also in WA, ABC reports Cyclone Narelle has devastated Exmouth, leaving the town isolated and the airport described as obliterated. The immediate priorities will be emergency access, communications, supply chains, and recovery funding. In sport, ABC reports Oscar Piastri qualified third for the Japanese Grand Prix behind Mercedes drivers Kimi Antonelli and George Russell. That's the latest on the key developments to start the day.